came back, so you must have some questions or thoughts. We hope. Otherwise, we'll just sit shamatha again. So what's up with your practice? Not just this evening, but, practice questions in general are quite helpful, often for others. Matthew. Yeah, and we need the microphone. Great.
Hello. There we go. I had a little bit of I think something that I've always known, but not something that I have confronted as directly as before in regards to practicing Tonglen. I noticed today when practicing it that I really struggled to maintain kind of a focused visualization of even just like the person, so to speak, and sort of like keeping the concentration, the focus. And I found that it wasn't necessarily because I don't have a good imagination, because as soon as I lost focus, there was tons of visuals that were very vivid and very easy to sort of perceive completely.
The ones you were not inviting in.
Right. And I'm just gonna I found that I discovered that the main reason why I do so much shamatha with eyes open is to keep all of that from encroaching on my practice. And I was wondering if that form of shamatha would working with that more consistently even than I do now help out with visualizations. Is there a shamatha that kind of helps? Because I'm kind of looking for like a way to sort of use shamatha to prep myself for these things that I still struggle with. Because shamatha is really great to come back to, like, when I get frustrated with whatever else I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to find a way to take a little bit of the effort out of visualizations, because I focus so much that I'm kind of trying too hard.
What's the last phrase?
I put so much effort into focusing that I'm really like putting in a lot of like tense effort rather than relaxed focus, and then I have to go back to Jine and really cultivate that relaxed focus for quite a while.
So what happens when you just follow the breath? With no effort to, let's drop Tonglen for a minute. Okay. You're not trying to visualize anything. How does that go?
With eyes open, it goes really well, actually.
Okay. And when your eyes are open, are you keeping them kind of hazy? You're not really staring at something. You're not analyzing it like.
No, I've actually I have like, we can call it like an eye that has a hard time focusing. So I've gotten really good. I can relax my eyes really easily and kind of like look without like focusing on any one.
You're looking without seeing. That's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say, number one, just go back to that more comfortable place whenever you start feeling that like pressure, like I'm losing it, I need to get it, and just drop all that. Just go back. One of the things that's so clear from your question and some questions this morning and my own experience, we have way too big expectations of ourselves. So I think the metaphor I used this morning was, we're not going to start out running the 26-mile, marathon at the first or second or third or even 10th time that we do Tonglen. We're learning it, and it's a complex practice with a number of pieces. So let ourselves be learners, like I, as someone else did this morning, got very tangled up on this breath in, breath out, take and give, and it, you can get very tense trying to make it right the first time. This is a problem from our methods of education, right? Almost like we're going to get a grade, at the end of this. Did you remember when you breathed out? Did you remember when you breathed in? It's not like that. Okay, we really have to get gentle with ourselves. Let ourselves be 4-year-old learners, like, hey, honey, good job, you know.
You visualized for a good solid second.
Yeah, without the sarcasm, though. Yeah.
All right.
With like, because, you know, Lama Michael said one time, and I love this image, he said, well, basically, you're trying to do something as hard as turning the Titanic in a bathtub.
Oh, that's a good one.
And it really helped me be more gentle with myself. Like, this is hard, because it's hard because we are not used to this. This is the opposite of what we've done for not just this lifetime, but in Buddhist worldview, many lifetimes. So if we're going to try and change this constant habit of self-grasping, self-centeredness, some effort has to come in. But the ego will even hijack that by criticizing us. And that's just more ego. It's just a whole nother ego game. Ego can be, oh, I'm all that, get out of my way, I'm the most important, but it can also be, I'm just awful at this, you know? That's just another
Why are you even trying?
Yeah, another dance of the ego. And so we need to see that, just see it, say, I don't want to go that way. I'll go back to my calm abiding. I'll just get myself calmed down. Always you can go back to that as almost kind of a safe space. The other thing you can always do is go back to the refuge prayer. You can make up your own refuge prayer. Oh my gosh, I'm just swimming in stuff here. You know, Buddha, help me with this. You know, that's what refuge is. Then you can think, what's Buddha anyway? Oh, that's my own wisdom, my own compassion. Okay, I see, I stopped. That was smart. I called out for help. That was compassion towards self. We need to make this work for ourselves. You know, the formalities are there because we just don't even know how to go forward. And we can use them, but it won't be helpful to use them to then beat ourselves up with them. Does that help, Matthew?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. Just go back to the calm abiding. And when the calm abiding doesn't work, because all those things get way too busy, switch to loving kindness. You can just switch. You can just switch your channel. Switch to loving kindness. Sit there sending out loving kindness to anybody. Pick someone, you know, to the whole world, to your parents, to siblings, to the president, to, you know, anybody you want. And then that also lifts the mind. Go back to calm abiding. Then try something more complex again. We're just training. So we need to be coaches, you know, coach our mind. Like, oh, good job on that. I see you got that part down. Now here, we need to do a little of trying a little harder, you know. And, oh, I see when you try harder, you get tense. Okay, but you noticed it. That's all we need to do. Then relax. Yeah, it's just a process. Yeah. Okay.
I've been trying to kind of clean up my act a bit, and
Good job.
Yay!
I'm serious. We all need to do that.
Trying to lead a more ethical life, and trying to kind of create a foundation for a more serene mind. And in doing so, I've had to kind of withdraw from some friendships that kind of bring out the worst in me. And it's nothing to do with them. It's more like when I'm engaged with them, I just get swept up in gossip or all sorts of things. So I'm trying to take a break from that. And recently someone And I feel really like kind of not guilty, but really sad about it. And someone told me that the Hinayana path,
Hinayana,
yeah, is sometimes like you have to take the lesser vehicle. And I was wondering, instead of the big vehicle, like you should be able to be with everyone and help everyone. Sometimes you have to kind of take the lesser one. And I was wondering kind of what that meant, like if you could unpack that a bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of complex. Let me, okay. The Hinayana path is, I'm going to give a Reader's Digest description here so you understand that you could read volumes on it and we still wouldn't understand it totally. First of all, Hinayana is considered kind of a pejorative, calling it lower, and then calling Mahayana greater. So yana just means wheel, just turning. Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana. So in our lineage here, we include all the practices of the Hinayana path. Those are those first turnings around understanding suffering, Four Noble Truths, looking at the four mindfulnesses, mindfulness of body, mindfulness of mind, mindfulness of phenomena. We've talked about them here quite a bit. So the first thing that needs to get straightened around in your thinking or your friend's thinking is we're not separate from that path. Like we didn't throw it out or something. It's not like that path is over here and we're over here. So we practice all three turnings of the wheel here: Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana. The thing about the Hinayana that is distinct from the Mahayana, people say, I've never practiced the Hinayana in just pure Hinayana, is that it's not. You don't take a bodhisattva vow. You don't take the vow to end the suffering of all beings. You work on ending your own suffering. Now, what the Mahayanas say about that is when you end your own suffering, you're not a complete awakened being. You might think you are because you've accomplished a lot, including getting rid of self-grasping and such, but that you have to go back and do more work at some point. So that's a pretty big criticism of that path. The Hinayana people would not agree with that. I just lay it out. But it's not like, so that's kind of this quick overview, okay? But then your friend is saying something to you about, maybe this is too hard for you to give up friends and all that, or is that maybe this is your own thinking. And so you should practice this Hinayana path so you don't have to do something with all beings. Can you describe that part again?
Yeah, I'm probably misinterpreting things because it's confusing. I didn't even understand
How do you get
three.
It? I mean, so
it was more like sometimes you can't save everyone; you have to save yourself first.
Yeah.
So self-liberation seems to be more the like basically focus more on that. Yeah. And then when you get stronger, you can the great vehicle, Mahayana vehicle is.
So what do you think about that?
Well, it was somewhat of a relief in a way.
And what did you think you won't have to do now? Or aren't ready for now?
It was just more, accepting the fact that I don't have the capacity to help or be
to help all beings.
Yeah.
None of us.
Or just,
none
I mean,
of us
even
have
like
that capacity.
someone, well, I guess even like a close friend, sometimes you just don't.
Yeah.
And,
so okay, so where this confusion is, I think I'll say this, and it's a lot of us have this, is between view and actions. Okay, so in the Mahayana, you take the view, the kind of courageous view. I want to develop a mind that aspires to end the suffering for every single being. That's a view, okay? What you actually can do is your action and capacity. You know, I carry that view around as much as I can. I still get angry at someone. I still can't figure out what to say to my friend. I don't know what to do with my 5-year-old grandson when he flips the light switch constantly. By the way, he has stopped that. He's on to new things. but no, those are the actions. So let's say you give up the view, okay? And you say, I'm just going to work to get myself out of samsara. Do you think then you would be more skilled? Yeah, so there's the confusion right there. You won't be any more skilled because you still have to do all that. What do I do? Now, the Mahayana, for at least me in my experience, if I hold the view that every single one of you has been my dear close friend in my past life, my skills improve automatically. I'm still just bumbling around. But do you see how that view could help your skills improve? Yeah, because I'm going to approach you no matter what we're doing. If we're working together or you're an apparent stranger driving next to me on the street, I'm going to try and hold that we've been close, that you're a person of importance to me. So I'm going to strive for that. That's the Mahayana Bodhisattva view. Then my actions flow from that. If I think that I need to get myself out first, for me, I've tried this on a lot. I can't see how it will work, actually, because it seems like it could be more of the same selfish focus. Now, I'm not saying Hinayanas say that, just get myself out first, but this is kind of a misinterpretation. There are people who have followed the so-called Hinayana path or Theravadan path. They're not exactly identical, who have become fully awakened beings. There's no doubt about that. But for me, I just see that having this bigger, vast view is helpful to my mind every moment. Every moment. Now, let's go back to the thing about friends when you start cleaning up your ethics, okay? And then we can open it. I went through the same process as it sounds like you're going through. That the friends I really loved and cared about and had so much fun with, once I was going deeper and deeper into Buddhism, they weren't coming along. That was my first try, like, come on, but just not the karmic interest, not, they were doing other things. I still see them. We still enjoy each other. I see them a lot less. I didn't cut them off. You don't need to cut them off. That's one thing. You don't clean up our ethics by cutting off friendships. We work with that whole thing of, why am I getting swept up here? It may be if your friends mostly socialize at the bar, and for me, I had a drinking problem. It was like, well, that's a pretty bright line. I need to not do that. I'll see them, but we'll do something else in the afternoon. Let's have tea in the afternoon instead of go to the bar at night. Eventually, those friendships sort of drop away. And it's not so different from any other time your friends have dropped away. You go to college, you have a certain group of friends, and you don't anymore. You don't have the same friends from high school. You don't have the same friends from the last job you had. Interests change, and that's what it is. But I'm wondering if perhaps you might be going at it too quick, like I need to just clean it up, and that means don't be with these friends. And so, you don't have to answer that right now, but just be thinking of that. Like maybe see them a little less, or work on, when I'm with them, guiding the topics to something more uplifting than he, she gossip. But no need to hurry with any of it, And it's also a time where you can practice and see, I see I fall off here. There's one person I was just noticing this. Every time I'm with that person, I end up criticizing others. I cannot understand it's just like, boom, there's some sort of karma with me and this one person, and we just pick at people. And I leave, and while we're in it, I feel sort of like, I don't know, fun or something. And then I leave and I go, oh my God, that was horrible. What did I just do? So then I have not cut that person out, but now whenever I go in with her anywhere, I'm guarded about that. And that's good practice. That's good practice for me. I go, there's conditions here that pull me in. So I watch and see, and can I turn the conversation, or can I say, I think I need to be going now, or whatever, So it's more like that. Does that make some sense? Yeah. And you don't have to worry in a certain way. As your interests shift, relationships will shift too. And you'll make good friends with people in the Dharma, which it's really, once you see what you're seeing, this shift, it's such a relief to be with people who have that worldview of, what we're here for is to be kind, what we're here for is to be helpful, and what we're here for is to be clear with each other. It just becomes such ease, you're at ease with those friends. So it just kind of naturally occurs. It's not like you have to make it happen. Yeah, Ryan. That was a great question, Melissa. It's a hard one.
I have a different question, but kind of in this similar vein of lesser vehicle, but how to be skillful within holding the view and how you use your time. So I guess I do my best to hold the view that whatever I do, I would like it to benefit all beings.
Yeah, good.
But as far as reducing confusion in my own mind in order to be present for people as much as possible, sometimes I have a hard time deciding what is the best, most skillful way to do that. Lots of times it's, sitting and meditating, but sometimes the thing that would reduce confusion in my mind for me to be present for others is to clean my room so that I don't have so much confusion, or that I have more
absolutely
stability or something like that. And I often kind of vacillate back and forth between, there's a lot of chaos in my life, and I could reduce that in many different ways, by doing some practical things such as organizing my life, cleaning, pursuing circumstances which would put me in a position to better be present for people.
Yeah.
And that is all separate from sitting.
No, it isn't.
Okay. So that's the vacillation is sometimes I can't make that decision. What is better for me to sit, or what is better for me to clean my room so I have less confusion?
Well, in any moment, you're going to be the only one who can decide that. And it is a good question. They are not separate. So we only sit in order to have a mind that when we rise up from the cushion, we're skillful. And having a messy room, or not sharing in house stuff or whatever, or not keeping our schedules not too crowded, with some space and some simplicity, those are all a direct result of that sitting. So I'll just tell you, you will have to keep sorting it out. It's good you're seeing it. That's you're seeing. And what I would have you notice is you are thinking they're not so connected, and they are. So like the other day, what was I doing? I don't know if I'm maybe eating a sandwich, and I'm thinking, how could this benefit anyone? Or brushing my teeth, or emptying the garbage. How can this benefit anyone? So you turn it into an interdependence practice. So if I go to a store and buy a sandwich, I help support that store. That helps supports the people who have jobs there. It supports all the suppliers who supplied the stuff I'm eating. So then I go, oh, my eating this sandwich actually very physically is interconnected and supportive of people. And you can just do this meditation on everything you do. If I brush my teeth, I stay healthier. I am carrying Dharma. I am carrying a bodhisattva wish. It's good in the world to be a being that carries a bodhisattva wish, just carries it around, doesn't even do anything, just sits in their car and wishes everybody was happy and free of suffering. That's big right there. We underestimate if it's not action. We don't count it. Thoughts are action. Thoughts are action. So just carrying that around is important. So I brush my teeth because I want my body to stay healthy, because I'm carrying this Dharma wish, and I would like to live long with a clear mind, so I need to take care of my health. Therefore, I need to eat healthier. Therefore, I need to go on my walk in the park. I go on my walk in the park, and I do mantra, at least part of it, and I look at people playing baseball, and I do mantra. I think of, Buddha on top of their heads pouring golden light on them. There's just 1,000 ways you can go at this. Or you see somebody in an argument, and you just, as you pass by, you just be thinking, may they be well, may they be happy, may they find peaceful resolution. This can be constant, and it's really quite delightful. So you're cleaning your house. If that helps your partner's mind be happier, or even your mind, that's a grand activity dedicated, Yeah, I mean, there's this prayer, may every single thing I do today with my body, speech, and mind benefit others. When you wake up, it's really good to say that, just that quick. Everything I do. And you can even say, Khenpo Sultram said this, even you can say, like I will kill an insect or something, they're going down the drain. I'm going, oh my God, I turned on the water, I just drowned someone, oh my God. And you can say in that moment, through this connection we just made, even though I can't see how, because it looks not good to me, may we have a connection that leads us next time to Dharma. This came from a doha. Do people know the dohas? The dohas are these spontaneous songs, like Milarepa sang a lot of dohas. And I don't think our aspiration for Mahamudra is a doha, but they're in that kind of vein, these deep spiritual songs that are just sung in the spontaneous moment by a very clear mind. And the student said that Khenpo Sultram was, they were driving somewhere in Asia, and there was plague of locusts or some kind of bug, and they had to drive through. I mean, they were in a remote area, and it was miles of these bugs, like driving over them, and the bugs hitting the windshield. And the student was so distraught and said, Rinpoche, what can we do? Maybe we should just stop the car. And Rinpoche said, well, we can't. You know, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're supposed to be somewhere, and we've got 6 hours of driving. We're stopping the car. There's just miles of this. So he sang a doha, and it said, all you sentient beings, it was to the insect, all you sentient beings I have a good or bad connection with, as soon as you have left this confused dimension, may you be born in the West in Sukhavati, and once you're born there, complete the bhumis and the paths. So he turned that really difficult connection, you know, I'm in the process of driving over the top of you and you're hitting the windshield, into a prayer that they will come to Dharma through that very connection. Even you can't see how it could possibly occur. This is really important that we understand the vast view of this. This is a connection in this life. We don't know next life. But if someone like Khenpo Sultram says that prayer, or even you, me, we say that prayer, at least our mind improves. You know, right there. That's a good. And then you give credit to that being. Oh, you helped me with my practice. Thank you. Dedicate it to them. The insect, the whatever. This is like how it works, to slowly use what we call transforming adversity into joy and courage. The adversity is no more solid than the joy and courage. Everything can be flipped and turned. We have to be careful so we don't start acting unethically and just saying it doesn't matter. I mean, that's a trap, and I don't think anyone here is going to get confused with that. But we can transform these situations. Yeah. Sarah. And then Cynthia.
I just had a couple comments about the previous questions. Well, the first one is, one of the great Zen masters of the 20th century, Master Jiu Kennett, used to say that sometimes people need a retreat in order to advance.
Yes.
And it's I think it's okay if you need to take a step back for yourself. You know, if you have a broken arm, you can't lift a bunch of weight or something like that. And I always found there was a Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, one of the great Rinpoches of the 20th century. He wrote this great thing where he said, you know, like the company we keep is like a crystal placed on a cloth, and it takes on the color of that cloth depending on the color, what's right, white, red, or black, or yellow. And so too do the company we keep also affect our life and practice. And even back in the Theravada Sutras, the Sigalovada Sutra talks about how to find a true friend and what a true friend looks like. And so these are things where you have something from the Hinayana path, one of the great Mahayana masters, and one of the greatest Vajrayana masters, all basically saying the same thing. Yeah. That, you know, it's okay to do what's healthy for ourselves in our practice and surround ourselves with good company. That's actually a very beneficial thing.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sarah. And the one of the things I learned in a number of years of practice is if we associate with those who are just kind of moving where we're moving, or even a little more experience, we constantly improve. If we associate mostly with people who are, you know, not doing that, as Sarah says, we'll reflect that too. So you're right on the spot of exploring that. And I think a lot of us are, yeah. And being gentle and not pushing, not suddenly we have to get pure, or, you know, it's not going to work that way.
Yeah. And as far as Ryan's comment, I was just saying, you know, when I used to live in a monastery, one of the things we did all the time was working meditation and cleaning. And it was very emphasized that, you know, your daily activities, whether you're cooking or cleaning the toilet or sweeping the floor or sewing a garment or something, is meditation. And it was one of the reasons that was emphasized is because, I mean, obviously people would sit several hours a day, but I mean, you know, to bring that into our daily lives, that, you know, to keep bringing that mindfulness back to the present moment. So cleaning is great meditation. If you clean your room, I mean, that's what people, that's what monks do.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And you can think of purifying as you're doing it is one way to think. I'm helping the world be more orderly, helping the world be my world and therefore the world. So
sometimes I feel like that could just be my whole practice and I never have to sit.
Yeah, that's good practice.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so you'll have to, you have to get a balance, and that's why monastery schedules are helpful. Okay, we're going to meditate an hour and a half, we're going to clean an hour and a half, now we're going to do this an hour and a half. And not that we want to live by those, but we can get our lives more balanced. Yeah.
It's helpful too.
There's really no contradiction. It's all very complementary.
Yeah, I kind of see that, but it's just so hard for me to decide which practice to do, I guess.
Yeah,
It's kind of this-
just pick.
It's like a fickleness or something, you know?
Well, I don't know. I'm a Libra, so I can get stuck like that too. Like, but on the other hand, and I've kind of learned to just move along. Zopa, choose one and do it.
I think that's the biggest takeaway for me.
Yeah, just move along.
Just do something and
choose
stop.
one,
Stop. Yeah.
do it, and be happy. Be content. Cynthia has something.
Okay, Zopa, I was glad you reminded us again about the chances to constantly dedicate something.
Yeah.
And I've gotten used to taking the practice off the cushion and seeing it manifest in the daily, whether it's cleaning or cooking or walking or seeing or Tonglen past people. But I don't remember the dedication of all these small things that I see. And I kind of like dedicate at the end of the day, but it sounds like you're suggesting we do it as we see something.
Sure. I mean, you can't, there's no, it's just like if it comes to mind, dedicate it. It's like putting it into a, I won't lockbox. That was G.W. Bush's phrase. But it's like, you know, let's tighten it up and see. It's I recognize this is positive and I dedicate it. Mm-hmm. But there's no rule about every time or just at the end of the day. Yeah. It's just whatever occurs to your mind. I find when it comes to my mind when I'm more sort of freaked out. You know, like I just killed the insect or I just swore at someone because they drove by me the way I didn't want. And then like give them the merit, clean it up, give them the merit. So it just comes more like that.
And is it something like when you said we can make it up, like make up our own refuge so we can wing it with our own dedication?
Yeah, you don't have to always go by the formal words. You know, sometimes they don't speak to me as much as my own. Mm-hmm. Like, I here's a dedication. I say, I give you the merit. I just got some merit. I give it to you. Mm-hmm. That's a dedication, you know. I let go. I give it to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So along those same lines, on Wednesday, after Shenrezi, Lama Michael was with us and did some discussion. And he said something. He said when one person, I don't know if I remember it correctly, but what I remember is that he said when one person frees himself from suffering, and then he said everybody who knows them is somehow affected by that, and they are also become free. And then he made this enormous jump, and he said, and the whole universe is freed.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, something about the profundity of interdependence, something about the ripples in a pond and really how far they go, or, how deep they are.
Yeah.
Am I on the right track with that as far as you?
Well, I
can
don't
tell?
know. It's kind of a koan, isn't it? A koan. Like, the steps I go to are like this. If my mind creates my world, which I can see that my mind creates my world. Because I could come in here, the circumstances are identical, and I could be a born-again Christian and think this is horrific. That this whole thing is horrific. That these people are deluded, they're worshiping idols, nothing is different about the external circumstances. That's my mind. So now, in my world, I have created that this is horrific. We really don't see how much we create the world we're in. But, you can remember examples probably from your own life, right? Something that seemed horrible. Now, not so much change in the external, seems okay, seems tolerable, even might seem good at some point. So I think it's tied to that kind of thing. When we free ourselves from all of our suffering patterns, then our universe is a universe matching reality. So it's filled with luminous potential that's endless, that's unbounded. There's nothing holding anybody back. So the only other way I can see it is one time I saw this beautiful picture of a Buddha, just, really seemed like a really solid sitting Buddha. And it said, to he, and of course I wrote in she, to she whose mind is still, the whole world surrenders. And I sat back and looked at that. What could that mean? And then I just got a nanosecond of it. Like when your mind is really still, the world has surrendered. Because we are making up the world all the time. We make up our traumas, our dramas, our goodness, our badness, our suffering. And as the Dalai Lama says, if you can make up your suffering, you can make it up joy. You can make up joy. You make up a suffering life, you're totally capable of that. You're equally capable to make up a life of joy. This is the unbounded, unfettered view of the capacity of our Buddha nature. So that's how I get it. But it's not, I think we get kind of externalized, like that means I got to make that chair perfect and that cushion perfect, and it's not quite like that. It's an inside job, as they say. They say it's an inside job. Buddhists are insiders, so we work from there out. So we get the view established, and then we go out. And then we see in our experimenting out there, this and that. My friend's still upset with me, or my room's a mess, or when I get with this one person, I gossip. We run, what does Bill call it? Run the experiment. We run the experiment, then you go back on the cushion and reestablish the view. Okay. Good for you, you experimented. Let's see what happened there. And what kind of help do I need in here, Okay? Okay, let's end tonight. Of course, we never end, but let's dedicate. And let's really think about what we're saying here. So we're saying by this virtue, That means this virtue we created. You came here instead of going off doing something else. We engaged in Dharma discussion. Hopefully our minds and hearts are healed. So all of that virtue, may I quickly, we want to do this quickly. Why? Because suffering's going on, so we want to end it. And we want to realize Mahamudra. Maha, great, Mudra, seal, S-E-A-L, the Great Seal. The Great Seal is appearance and emptiness together. The seal of interdependence, the seal of emptiness, of separate solidity. It doesn't mean emptiness like a nihilistic view, a nothing. It's empty of the false view. That's what's not there. So when they say, what will nirvana look like? This. It will look like this. But we will see that this is pure and wonderful and joyful and good. That will be what switches. We're not going to fall into a void and have nothing. That would be nihilistic. So the seal of this Maha, Great Seal, is the seal of seeing everything as existing in a relative way. Very nice puja table. Yet this puja table is empty of the solid puja table that I see. It's wood, it's workers, it's, you can just go to dependent arising. How does this come about? Endless beings have helped create this one thing here. I didn't make it, I didn't bring it here, nothing, but wow, that's like magic. That's cool. You can have joy in that, So that's the Mahamudra. Okay. And we want everyone to be able to see and enjoy and live in that kind of happiness. So let's dedicate like that. Okay. By this virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state. Thank you for coming out on an evening and doing this. Thank you. See you soon. Wednesday night, Chenresi. Thursday night, mind training. And then next Sunday. What's that? Oh, and Saturday movies. I won't be going to those, so I keep forgetting because it's all about me. Not about what you all want. Yeah, when it comes right down to it, it's a strong habit.